Shall see how it's going to shape up. What do you have any opinions about the Meepo himself?
I think the hero is stronger. I'm not sold on it yet. I've seen Parker play it a few games. I think he played it once in the DPC even. But he also spams this hero in pubs and stuff. He's always been a big Meepo player, so I'm curious to see how he plays it. I think the Ag Scepter has to be a part of the build. Like, I think that's part of why this hero is being picked again. I'm leaning more towards it being viable. I don't think it's trash. I definitely think the Ags is good. I'm just not sure how good.
Hopefully we get to find out this game for Mr. Jim Park if he's going to find it required in his item build. But what about what's in this game on the Morphling? This was a very, very early Morphling pick in the first phase. We said that it's, you know, he is the caliber player to be able to put teams on his back, and definitely Morphling is one of those heroes he can. Do we feel like this is a game where Watson can say, don't worry, boys, if I get my farm, I can get us over the finish line?
Sort of. I'm not convinced. Like, I think, you know, to go back to the Meepo and, like, how it matches up, Meepo's always been good against these heroes that rely on, like, mobility and, like, their elusiveness. And, like, heroes like Morph and Quap, like, I think Meepo can, like, scale very well against a Morphling. So I don't think it's just like, hey, if Watson free farms, he can win the game. I think he needs to, you know, find some item timings around his teammates, and they need to execute well. Like, particularly Kadomi as the only, like, initiating force on this ND side needs to really set up some good fights for Watson. So it's going to be a tough game for him. I don't think it's just a get farm, win game kind of situation.
Yeah, because if Katomi doesn't set up good fights for Watson, then you're going to have the AA counter that they went for super early on for beastcoast. So, and you've got multiple heroes to be able to put in front of him. Meepo, Mag, and the Tiny as well. So hopefully that makes Stinger's game a little bit easier. See how we have our second game. Of course, our last game of the night as well.
I think Watson's going to be hoping in these, like, mid-game fights he can just, like, dive in, kill the AA. Like, if you initiate on the AA, you just kind of take out that Ice Blast from the picture. But easier said than done. There's going to be, you know, you need that vision, and you've got the Rocket Flare, I guess, to kind of try and play around. But that's going to be, that's where, you know, we mentioned Kadomi so much because he is so important.
Toby top lane. Being chased down by the blood grenade slow. Jim Park as well. One more right click, and already are some of our concerns about the Winter Wyvern is showcasing early on.
Meepo just right-clicked him down. That was a level 1 Meepo just with poof. Didn't even need Earthbind or the Ransack. Well, bad start to the lane for Toby. But he is at least kind of low, but has the Salvi to play around. They've maybe got the Meepo now a bit out of position here, so they'll get at least some good damage, and don't think they've got a kill here.
I expected that Cinder Blast still. A lot more damage. Jim Park is okay. He has the resources looking. A couple tangos. Singer can give over to him as well. I think the real big thing is just, I mean, definitely Entity bottom lane is going to go incredibly well. Even though Magnus is a universal hero now, still the Undying is a very, very annoying laning support for the Mag to play into. So this is going to be, I imagine, a free farm lane for Watson. I would be quite surprised if it's not. And mid should be pretty good for Stormstormer as well, although I do still think Dark Margo is going to find his farm. It's actually bottom. Fishman do it under the tower. Tombstone's going to get dropped down. Fishman won't die. It looks like Schofield won't either.
The zombies? So he's salving.
I think he's salved, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to lose that salve, though. And
top lane. Stinger's getting chased down. Katomi with a battery assault. That's going to be enough. So they're going to be able to strike back for Entity pretty fast.
Try get control and take advantage of this top lane before Meepo starts getting those clones into the picture. Yeah. So far, you know, despite giving up that early kill on Toby's Wyvern, oh, another skewer down bottom. They've got the Morphling into the tower here, but he's A-okay.
I guess that's another thing about the Morphling into the Mag lane is, again, Stinger's going to go down. He'll have to make the Walk of the Shame, and oh no, he has Jim Park's Glove of Haste in his inventory as well, so Meepo's not going to be able to finish the treads, which makes it that much worse of a dead.
It's low-level support, so we'll respawn fast, but a long, long walk back to the lane. So this lane stage looking pretty good for Entity here. Multiple lanes seem to be going well. This top lane, yeah, despite Toby giving up the first blood, has completely swung Radiant's favor, and Quap having the advantage. Morphling should be free farming. He's actually had a bit of a rough time here, so just the constant kind of scrapping has kind of limited his ability to just farm in this lane.
They're going to even take away the water in for Stormstormer as well. Dark Margo had a nice toss away to stop Katomi from picking up the top one. And now it looks like bottom is going to be secured for Dark Margo as well.
And nicely done. They recognize that's a good way to punish this mid-Quap, and Quap has no mana for a blink.
Oh, that's a huge kill. Quap is a lane dominator, 3 points in Shadow Strike, but goes down to 1 rotation out of Schofield. Tommy should be fine by the looks of it.
They just recognize, like, you click the Quap and see she's on like 51 mana, and they're like, hey, we can actually kill her. Like, she can't just blink away. Let's just run at her and she's gonna die. Top lane, they've got the double Meepo.
Dude, Toby, can he fly over the top? Arctic Bird about to expire. He'll make it into the pit of death. This always feels like. Maybe no, with a TP up, Toby will live. Meanwhile, a lot of action in the other lanes, so bottom. Looks like Sacred went down. There was an exchange, so Fishman's life.
Yeah, we're always happy. You know, support for core and the carry free farming away, so Morphling going to be thrilled with the outcome there, but Max will come right back to this lane and continue doing what he does best, just being an absolute nuisance, looking for that early Vanguard, but not doing a whole lot anymore to pressure this Morphling. This lane is really stabilized in Morphling's favor, where he's got the sustain and the levels now to just free farm away.
All the action. It's shaping up for another game, 4 games where we've had a lot of action. Last game mirrored the EG Liquid series. And it looks like this one was 6 kills early on. Maybe add another one. Stormstormer's out of mana. Not going to be able to play around with the ultimate. Looks like it won't matter though. Dark Margo, that's a big kill for them to be able to find. Stormstormer gets a reward. They don't get the power rune though, which he would have loved considering he needs to refill up his resources, but we'll be happy with the kill.
Yeah. I think that's one thing Beast Coast have done really good is just keeping these runes out of Quap's hands. With that said, Entity have found a good job of just making these plays, getting some kills, and doing well in lanes, even without those.
Oh, Watson's going in for it.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be able to TP down now. It's going to be Dark Margo. Doesn't want to go to mid. Sees an opportunity to try and kill off the Morphling. Toss back onto the tower. But with the attribute shift, Watson's going to be okay for the moment. Still has a little bit of strength to morph into as well. Dark Margo with a round to the spells. It's going to take a while with the low level that the Tiny is, so they won't get the kill onto Watson. Maybe they'll turn to the easier Undying instead, but Fishman, he's got another round of the Decay, and with 2 points in it already, secures the kill before he dies. Wants a hive. No way, Fishman? Okay, Dark Margo timed it perfectly, but almost got the deny onto the neutrals.
Yeah, and there was a Meepo kill up top while all that was going on, so the Wyvern slowing down the Gym Park Meepo. We've seen what he can do throughout today, carrying on Medusa, carrying last game on TA, so having a slow starting hero like Meepo, not a good sign. Definitely a hero that usually is very momentum-based, and you're not looking to have that kind of slow start, so you can catch up and accelerate your farm very quickly in the jungle, but that's not really where the Meepo wants to be this early on.
And just importantly, it gets Wyvern out of, I really think, one of her weaker stages in the game. So Toby now has the ultimate, so if anyone shows in the lane, should be able to get that turnaround potential, and it frees up everyone else to play with Stormstormer too. Once again, we've got the power rune timing that both the Quap and the Tiny would desperately love. Fishman joins the illusion though.
This Quap continuing to poke and pressure the mid lane.
Pressure might build up a bit too much for Beast Coast. Sonic Wave at the ready. Not going to put him in a threshold where that'll secure the kill. They're hunting Stinger though. Tommy's going to be able to find him out in the tree line. And these kills for the supports are starting to act up. Both Fishman and Katomi are level 5.
And importantly, they're just keeping heroes away from defending the mid-tier 1 tower. They're getting it down to a 3rd health now, so even without a siege wagon, they Get this tower very low. An early tier 1 here would be huge for them in terms of pressuring the map.
Comfy? Does he want to... Oh, it's just a measly Dark Willow. They might even be able to get Dark Margot off to the right side. That's a great combo out of the Tiny. There's going to be enough damage from Stinger to be able to get the Queen of Pain kill, but still the supports, that's where the levels are able to come into play. It's not... Okay, Rocket Flare. Katomi gets the kill. Zeki with the rotation. They've got no damage to Fishman.
No.
1100 health. He might be able to stick into the TP up. Dark Willow's going to TP in, so he is just...
He wants to die.
He's going to go for it now. Yeah. Will he make it? Brambles laid down. It'll stop him short. But it is time delayed, giving the cause on the side lanes free farm.
Yeah. At the end, he's like, he either needs to TP to base or just die there, because he's not contributing a whole lot other than creating space, which is super useful. This Morphling continues just to go kind of uncontested in this bottom lane.
Storm.
That's the blink away this time. And then curious to see what the plan is around this Meepo. They're going to hit an early blink dagger timing, it looks like, and then try and get this Meepo active, I'm got to imagine. Try and take some fights using that early Ice Blast, maybe.
Dark Mug. They're going to chase him down. Do have an Arcane Rune they're trying to leave for him. Might just bait his own life, though. Raiden, they're even considering about jumping over the top, the Stormer. Target Stinger down for the moment. So kind of a lack of damage from either side to start. They'll need their extra numbers. They're starting to path toward Jim Park and put the ward up on a higher gun. Entity, they're well aware of this. They're going to play accordingly. Not running into the die territory. Going to back on off to their own side of the map. Dark Margot still wanting for the finishing blow, but the Tombstone drop, that should signal the retreat. East Coast know there is no further fight with this one now used.
So badly wants to force fights around this Arcane Room, but AA just short of level 6, 1 or 2 creeps short. Clockwork was also like 1 creep short of level 6. If he had it there, they would have been able to initiate on the energy side, but has managed to now get it off of this mid creep wave, and Dark Mag has to be a little bit careful sticking around here. If that hookshot finds him, could be in some trouble now with the Arcane Room wearing off.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
A much better start to this game for Entity. So you haven't really addressed the Meepo, who after the one death in lane just gone back to the jungle and a completely free farm. Top of the network by a long shot. Katomi, pretty good reactions out of Sacred with a skewer instantly. You'll be able to get some separation. Now, but the Clockwork is way too far away from the team. They're going to have to feed him to the wolves and back on out.
Yeah, they're too overly ambitious there. The hookshot not quite landing as well. And I was able to get on top of when the battery assault, but quick response from Beast Coast, just knowing that, you know, they're kind of happy to play this like 4-1 split where Meepo's just free farming in the jungle, top of the net worth. As long as the other 4 heroes are then constantly fighting and defending objectives, this game will, you know, they're going to hit a strong mid-game timing now.
In the fight, nice toss in the Bramble. Pretty great placement, Storm. So another ultimate just used for a support. They'll get the kill, continuing to give him a little bit of gold to get closer towards the Kyre and Sanj.
And kept the rune out of the Tiny's hands, the double damage. So it would have been a nice pickup for the Tiny to have this early on. But Undying willing to... I think it's generally at this stage, like, where mid laners having runes can be so impactful. Dying as a 5 position to just take a rune can often be worth it.
So we've had a lot of action around mid, but when do we feel like this is going to start to move over to the side lanes?
I think around the blink timings, Meepo's got his, Tiny's is a couple hundred away. I think we're going to see a ton of smoke rotations coming out of the Beast Coast side. They've got the Magnus blink queued up, but that's about 1,500 gold away. So I think it's just going to be, let's hunt these heroes, like Morphling ideally, but really whoever you can find, and then try and turn kills into objectives, because, you know, Meepo's a pretty good objective taker. So I think that's, in my opinion, about to start happening. They're just waiting on the Tiny blink. That's the big one. He's going to hit level 9 and have blink in probably the next minute or so.
It's going to be Entity that make the go first. See Sacred farming up the stack. Katomi will start, and with Stormer nearby, they should have the damage required. Sacred's going to skew them to the north, though. Does he want to use the RP? Because the team is close by. Jim Park very hesitant about following up, so RPUs, they might get the D. Oh, it just expired. So frustrating. Drop the sentry, about to get it. Juicy gold, juicy experience. Just gets taken away.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Will happily take the Magnus kill though. And they're moving in aggressively, looking for this wisdom room where Meepo may just have to vacate.
See.
They are not ready to force this fight.
If they caught out inside the river, it is the Queen of Pain. That's a huge kill. Back to bottom, Sacred. In some trouble, Watson. Great play with the replica. Back skewer on over the top. Where are we going, Sacred? Oh, not trapped inside the cogs. So he gets out. Katomi's still trying to hunt for the kill. Maybe another round of the decay. Going with the damage from afar will help them out. Jim Park wants some revenge, and he's going to be able to find it, but Watson, he's starting to pump in a lot of damage. Meepo overestimated how much damage he'd truly have, and Watson stands strong with the Stolen Empower. Means that he was able to tear apart the health pool.
Yeah, he just kind of right-clicked that Meepo down, and Tiny's looking for some revenge here with the haste rune. No way you're killing a Morphling. Maybe the Clockwork, but he just TPs himself out of there, so Meepo's first arrival to a fight is pretty underwhelming here, and that's a pretty bad sign. Like, you know, Meepo's still one of these heroes you're not picking for this like greedy late game, you know, farming. You're really trying to hit a big mid game timing, and your blink daggers, you come to a fight, doesn't really work out too well, and they're not really syncing up.
Maybe this is where they can sync up top lane though.
Yeah.
Toss in the Ice Blast, easy combo. And they're able to execute it for Beastcoast. So they're kill for them to find me more entity. They're even trying to make their own play mid lane. Once again, trying to slow down Jim Park. I think he does read this attempt. But my big concern is just Watson is getting too much early game farm. Manta is so value this game. Completely mitigates a lot of the Dark Willow's abilities. Actually, hold that. There's hook shot in for Katomi. Able to land on the Stinger. Beastcoast got some heroes nearby. Dark Margaret doesn't have the greatest resources though, and especially with the Tombstone dropped. Beastcoast want nothing to do with that.
Yep, that's going to be the Clockwork's #1 objective this game, is just jump the AA any chance you get. You get on top of the AA and find a kill. That just means Morphling is going to have a free reign in any team fight if there's no Ice Blast to worry about.
Schofield looking for a solo kill into Katomi. I might be forced to beeline it back around as Dark Margaret tries to get the jump with the combo. That's enough. He's in a lot of danger though. Stormstormer not going to mess around. They'll need the curse to break the TP, and Toby be able to find him just in the nick of timing. Schofield could protect. Oh, he's stuck. Oh,
they can't reach him though.
They can't see him, and yes, Sacred now is in with the RP. It's just a little bit off the mark with the Ice Blast, but Jim Park has plenty of control and the damage. A double kill secured, but Watson wants to make amends. He's going to be in with the Morphling. Play around with the Magnus Replicate. Finds a skewer onto multiple, but Watson is just by himself. Has he overcommitted? Gets the kill, looks to Schofield next as well. Watson knows his limits and now spies out Stinger as well. A triple kill for the carry of Entity, and Watson is on a roll, top of the net worth by a long shot, and they seem to have a big Morphling issue.
Yeah, the Morphling just being ahead of the Meepo is making such a big deal in these fights. Meepo just not having the stats or survivability, just melting to the Morphling, and his right-click damage, he just takes the Magnus form, gets the free Empower, has a couple of extra nukes as well. The fact that Dark Mago survived that long and kind of baited them in by getting hidden in the trees worked out so well in Beastcoast's favor, but ultimately it's still Entity kind of on top just because of how strong this Morphling is.
And he's only going to get stronger as well. I really wonder when Watson considers a Scepter, because it's incredibly viable this game versus the Mag. You can even use it against the Dark Willow. As
he'll live.
Okay, he'll live. So I wonder when he goes Scepter. I think this is a BKB game as well versus a lot of the spell damage they have in control. He might even want a little bit of stats just to make sure he doesn't get blown up from the Tiny. So I do wonder what the item build is going to be for Watson, but with the game he's had, if he can get like 3 items, I think he carries.
Yeah, there we go. You mentioned the Ags and how good it is. That's exactly what he queues up. Looks like as his first big item.
I don't... Katomi? Very nice of them from Storm. Someone putting himself nearby to act as a target for the hook. They still have a ward though, so Dark Margot can start to stalk some of the entity members. They want to fight though. Fishman lays down the ward. Tombstone now dropped on the high ground as well, but it seems a little bit awkward for them at the moment, so they're going to back on off.
Yep. Probably the calls being made, more things like, guys, I'm not there. You know, if you want to take a big fight, make sure I'm at it because I'm pretty important at this point of the game. And Aghanim Scepter is online for Watson.
Goodbye, Fishman. Scouts him out at least. That's the important thing. 4 heroes around bottom. Might look into the tier 1 tower. We'll see if Jim Park even wants to move down as well. I do really want to mention, with him rushing Scepter, okay, he's going to go Sanjin Yasha, which will definitely buff him up so he doesn't get blown up versus Tiny. It is a goddamn value Manta game, so I wonder if that could still prove to be an issue with to be able to dispel the Earthbind and along with the Dark Willow ability, so we shall see. But of course, I will always believe in Watson's morph as Katomi finds out. This is big if they can get on Toby, but great reaction out of the Curse. And now look at the damage the Wyvern can pump out. They'll turn instantly with Watson nearby. Even Sonic Wave to get the kill. Sacred's ready. He's ready to go here with the RP if he can find an angle. Entity playing accordingly, backing off from the tree line. Watson pops out. Being able to retreat safely.
No. But there won't be any follow-up kills there, but yeah, definitely, you know, Morphling has to be a little bit careful with how squishy he is, but I'm expecting him to get that BKB maybe after the Sanjin Yasha, and that's where you can just, like, you know, play aggressive around the BKB. There's so many stuns and control that, you know, it seems like a necessary item at some point in the game. But up until this point, Watson's just played flawlessly around all the potential aggression from the Beast Coast side.
Watson morph is a very scary thing. Haven't been able to address it just yet, and do you see any time shortly they will be able to? Because he's definitely not at his peak just yet, but he's pretty goddamn close.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a big item or anything they're getting. Like they're itemizing defensively on the Beast Coast side. Meepo's just getting more stats. Magnus is trying to just get, you know, the Team Aura items. Tiny's going for a BKB. So there's no big change coming in terms of what Beast Coast have to deal with the Morphling. It remains the same. Like land a stun into Ice Blast and try and blow him up.
Well, maybe this could be the item for Jim Park. I have to imagine, well, he's got the potential to go Hex next item with this ultimate orb if he wants to. So that could be a route. I know Skadi is a very, I mean, we see this very often on Meepo. Skadi is kind of bugged right now though with not working to BKB. So we'll see if Meepo knows about this if he even goes down there.
Yeah. The Hex is, I think, an item you're going to need at some point. It's just like, can you afford to get it now? Because we've seen the Meepo in these fights look very squishy. Like, he just has been melting to the Morphling. So, you know, if you're not able to kill him during that Hex, or if you're the one getting gone on, like, this Meepo could become like, you're just a lot squishy with this Hex pickup. So it's something you have to be a bit careful about.
Gives him that opportunity now to find the jump. It's not as much pressure onto Dark Margot, who I think we spoke about it earlier in the day, that this Tiny can have a lot of difficulties with being able to keep up in farm. You do have a Magnus on your lineup, but we haven't really seen Dark Margot empowered, so he's really falling behind in the net worth.
And just the BKB, which will, you know, it's going to create a timing for Beast Coast where it's like, okay, this is our last hurrah. You know, we get BKB, let's smoke up, force some fights. We can't afford to give them Roshan. Well, they're going to get Roshan now, but like, you theoretically can't afford to like lose any ground when you rush this BKB because you're preventing your scaling. The problem is he's going to get BKB and now he's going to be into an Aegis, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to get a ton of value out of this BKB. We could just see this game turn into one where Beast Coast is playing high ground defense. They're only down 3k gold, but it feels like the hole they're in is much deeper than that.
It's only going to continue now as well. Katomi gets an angle for the hook shot. Nice attempt at the TP out. He'll actually be able to make it. So we'll cool down for a little bit of time. Let's see what they're able to get out of the map, though. Watson will run into Jim Park. Blink just into the proof away. Very, very close, but looks like Entity want to take firm control of this bottom side, so T2 Tower should be for free.
Yeah, they're thinking about pressing forward. They're going to send Morphling top, though, so doesn't look like they want to force the issue right now. I mean, think a mistake a lot of teams make is they get Aegis and they're like, okay, it's go time, let's run them. It's like, you got 5 minutes, so finish an item or two, deal with the creep equilibrium, like, you know, dot your I's and cross your T's. Push out the top lane and just take out these outer towers kind of more systematically if needed.
And we're not really expecting a response, right, for beastcoast until they hit these next set of items?
It feels like they almost need to respond at some point, but into the Aegis, I just think it's too big of a task. They want to, you know, try and find heroes that are maybe split apart from the rest of the team. But I think realistically their options are somewhat limited. They're going to get this Scythe of Vice on Meepo and then probably just look to make some find that nice initiation, like either off the Magnus or, you know, like probably with the Magnus Blink Skewer and then like the Meepo follows it up with his Hex. Because, yeah, their draft is not scaling into this late game, it feels like, against a Watson Morphling.
Maybe now they're ready to go, though. I mean, that's a huge item. BKB Dark Margot. She's got the Hex on the Meepo. And you just completed a Scepter as well for Schofield. So, see what the call is going to be. I do not believe they smoked under the ward. Fishman is going to reveal himself, though.
Sacred in the neighborhood, hovering around this mid lane, but he's got backup nearby as well.
Oh, the illusion. Oh, not the illusion bait. Not the illusion bait. And now they all group up. A curse onto 2. Spells disaster. Sacred goes down. Bye-bye, Dark Margot. Storm Stormer with the bait. That was perfect.
That feels so bad. You used so much, and it turns out just being an illusion. The second that Ice Blast goes on cooldown, Morphling, I mean, he already has a very free fight because of the Aegis, but sometimes you don't want to just throw away your Aegis for nothing, but that's the only thing that really poses a threat on Morphling is the Ice Blast. See it again here, just... I'm sure there was some level of intentionality with that, but there was also... It just seemed like an illusion just running down the mid lane as well.
Oh, God. And now they're going to lose so much off the back of that. One bait, couple of pickoffs. Your base is in shambles. Watson taking it with ease. With them respawning, they're going to pay some respect, though. So they will get the ranged barracks. And that will be it.
Yep. Playing it safe and slow. Watson has plenty of room to grow. Lots of scaling coming out of this Morphling, and not really any threat on the Beast Coast side. You see Beast Coast, yeah. I mean, I think they've got to. They kind of feel the pressure that's on them to not let this game drag out, so... See what they can find here.
It's like they've read this, though, on NT. They're going to back on off. Sacred gets a jump. It's just under the Undying, though. Not the biggest target. Tossing. That's huge from Dark Margot. Great opening onto the Winter Wyvern. With the Ice Blast layer down. Toby on his dying breath lands a curse. It's pretty decent. Watson's ready to go with a double damage rune. And Akitomi, along with the Sonic Wave, spells disaster. Watson, he's looking for the cleanup. What can Beast Coast do to stop him short? Jim Park trying to retreat out to the right, but he pops. And Watson will add the Dark Willow to the tally as well. As it looked like a pretty good start getting the Wyvern, but as long as Toby used his ultimate, that was all they needed to turn the fight back around.
Yeah, now Morphling's here with the double damage. Magnus got to be careful. You can't get too close to this Morph. Should be able to melt through the melee racks now.
Okay.
Toss back.
See, Watson might just kill them all. Sacred's going to be forced to use the RP with the multi-shot as well, but Sacred is locked inside the cogs. RP will give them nothing. That is also a dieback for the Magnus.
Tried to fortify, get that multi-shot to try finish off a Clockwork, but it's going to be a easy melee racks and get out there. Morphling just getting stronger and stronger, and the answers getting fewer and fewer for the Beast Coast side. Definitely a Meepo pick that just has not really worked out for them. The laning stage going the way it did, and followed up with, you know, the first few fights that the Meepo joined just very lackluster. The Morphling just able to out-damage the Meepo and just easily shred through him with like a couple of like empower right clicks. So all of a sudden we're in a kind of late game scenario where this Morphling is a true raid boss that just cannot be brought down.
And it's not just him that's going to be an issue as this game goes on. You mentioned earlier about the scaling with the Queen of Pain. Wyvern also scales quite well too, so on receptor for Toby. And just seems like this one only gets easier from now. I mean, Jim Park has a lot of net worth, but can he use that net worth to his advantage? Once again, Entity, they're ready to go. They see Dark Margo up on the high ground. Is he going to be able to react? He's actually away from the Observe Ward, so he'll somehow slip under the cover of the night. Okay.
They were even really close to finding the Meepo down here in the south, or they're going to at least see Schofield. Maybe he's baiting here.
They don't have everyone though.
Oh, they're going to find Meepo, it looks like.
Ooh, get out.
Oh, we got the hit.
Some Morphling. No Aegis. Okay. Terra. Whoa. All right. They got to retreat though. That's the big issue. Can they get away with the kill? Jim Park gets the proof over the top, but all the Meepos, they're locked down bottom. He'll delay the inevitable with the dig, but they're grouped up for the curse. And it was a good start. You get the kill of the first death of the game as well onto Watson, but in the end, it's not going to matter with Sacred and Dark Margo still not there for the fight. And now Sacred, he's revealing under the Observe Ward as well. So as long as they get the dagger to stop the blink away, Pipe is actually going to stop some of the damage. Sacred, he's making them really work for the kill, but in the end, they will be able to catch up to him. So again, even if Watson goes down, Entity, they're just way too far ahead.
They're just using this rocket flare to just constantly scout heroes out. It cancels the Magnus' blink dagger, so he can't blink out there. And just run at the enemy again and again. You lose a Morphling. The fact they win that fight that convincingly after like Morphling just gets blown up really highlights the issues that Beast Coast are facing right now. Like you remove the Morphling, and I mean, I guess it was like what, 4v4 because Willow also died at the start, but this fight should be going way better. But the Meepo, like, he throws all his damage, and then he's just vulnerable. He's a sitting duck just to a Queen of Pain or a Wyvern. They've got too many tools, too much damage coming from different sources here that they're not even reliant on the Morphling to, like, 1v5 at all here in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, he did in the other game, though, right? Like, when the team was vulnerable and when they needed him to get him over to the stage where you could find the farm, that's where Watson came into play. And now the cores are able to pick up the slack a little bit in some of the fights.
Yeah. And if you don't like blow up the Morphling there with the Hex, he can still 1v5 is the crazy thing. Yeah. Like it's like a pick your poison, like, okay, let's throw everything, kill the Morphling and die to everyone else, or if you ignore the Morphling, he'll just team wipe you. So there's just too many threats and you can't easily address them all. You have to maybe turn this game into one where you're splitting up Entity, you know, split pushing, trying to find pickoffs, but heads-on 5v5 fights are really tricky to take.
That they are. So Beast Coast are going to have to get crafty with their movements across the map. Tormentor at least was just claimed solo from the Meepo. Sacred's going to get the shard, not the greatest one for them to work with, but wasn't really many others. You probably would have liked the Dark Willow to find it, who Schofield is he's got Moonshot, so we shall see. We shall see.
Oh, with the axe too, all right. He's like, yeah, we got some issues late game. You know, these melee heroes aren't dealing with Morphling, so I'm gonna have to do it myself. Kind of being like a pseudo like it kind of reminds me of like the scaling Enchantress, where it's just like, all right, I will have all these melee cores who are being countered by a Morphling, so I'll take some carry duty.
And I'm setting up mid lane. Roche claim, but they're wanting kills as well, and they're going to be able to get Jim Park. Ooh. Just too late, very close to the curse. They moved away from Tiny as well, so Dark Margo was able to get the damage required to be able to find that tier 1 tower. So that's all tier 1s down now, 32 minutes in. But you've got Ages on Mr. Watson's Morphling and the cheese as well on Storm Stormer as well. So all the components of that second Roche will go their way. And they will be able to catch up to one member. Dark Margo's got some heroes around him though. BKB is going to be able to provide him some protection early on. Katoma gets tossed into the Lions Den with the Ice Blast combination as well. It's a lot of damage early with the Undying. Sacred finds a great opening with the RP, but where's the follow-up? No one else feels strong enough to enter the fight. They can try and spellcast as best as they can, but it just looks like they are too far behind. Toby even catches Stinger as well just before the TP connects, and Watson comes flying over to take the kill.
Meepo not even able to initiate in. He's trying to find an avenue to like jump the backlines or pick off a straggler with this Blink Hex and smoke of his, but Entity just doing a great job of just sticking together as this 5-man unit and using the Sage's cheese to great effect here, and they're ready to go for a second lane of racks now. Force that defense of Beast Coast, and with 3 dead, it just doesn't look like this is going to be a lane of racks that can be defended.
Second full set. And they still have plenty of time at the edges. Dark Mark. Okay. So very aggressive TP. Sacred's going to be in as well. But they do... they do scout out the Meepo outside the base, but Jim Park's got 1 clone still here. It's the main Meepo ready to go. It's going to be much more difficult playing into the Aegis, and even Fishman just sucks him in. Really nicely done. There goes your Ice Blast for 45 seconds. And that is a free window for Entity to take whatever they want.
Yeah, having that Tombstone as a save is just so nice here. Gonna make life even harder for the high ground defense. So they get in, get out unscathed. Not even signs of a fight or a hold there for Beast Coast. So they can just turn their attention now to this bottom lane and go for that final lane of racks potentially, where Beast Coast will be pressed to basically forced into finding some way to defend, or at least try and make a hold.
Has to be a miracle hold though from them to be able to somehow close it out. Just take a look at the net worth and somehow get Tomi is pretty close to the Magnus, and with that also pretty close to the Tiny as well. So
they've got the Magnus Skewer, they've got the tiny tossbacks, but they're still lacking a bit in the damage department. That's something Willow's trying to solve, and she's like, yeah, we got damage problems, so that's why I'm going Moonshard.
Straightforward is the core now. Potentially the carry even, so I'll see, just give everything a Schofield. Got another full wave of mid to get closer towards the Moonshard, but it might take a little bit too long, as might even just be the finishing blow from Entity. They've got 1:20 left on the Aegis, and this will be Megas if it's not addressed. Sacred. Oh, instant response. Watson out with the Bloodthorn. So we'll be able to get out of danger though, Sacred. They're even going to look for the toss as well. Dark Margo's in some danger. An aggressive blink. He's going to be able to get some separation, but it's not even enough. We're able to cut him down. No buyback as well for the Tiny. Jim Park's still going to be in, but straight away, Toby was ready for that. The curse onto multiple, and they should be able to clean up now. Sacred's in some danger. There's going to be no escape for the Magnus. Jim Park will join him in the afterlife as well. They've got 1 buyback to work with, but that will not be enough as Entity, they go back to what has worked for them in the past, the classic staple heroes for them, and they're going to be able to take this in 36 minutes.
Yeah,